Welcome back to That's So Vegas. I'm your host, Christine McKellar, here with the fantastic, I almost said fabulous, but everybody say I said that too much, so I'm going to say fantastic chef Phillip Dell. And I hope you enjoyed that 5-minute clip. That was from 6 years ago.
I know, right?
At Barbano Sex House. We have another one a little bit further in the show that we always say was a little risque because we did a menage a trois, but we'll talk about that. So prior to the video, which
and that's
was
definitely Vegas.
Yes, that is so Vegas. Thank you for that. And prior to going to that clip, we were talking about how you had, and for those of you who may just be tuning in, how you went from being 95 pounds overweight, you looked in the mirror, you made your mind up, you were going to drop the weight, and then you incorporated the bodybuilding. A friend got you tricked and pranked you into going to the gym. But there in your heart, you wanted to help other people transform.
Once I had lost all this weight, and even during the whole process.
And how good you felt.
Amazing how you feel. I talk to people all the time that are the way I used to be. That's the easiest way to say it. They don't know how, you really don't know how bad you feel until you feel good, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense to me.
You don't ever get sick when you're eating a perfectly balanced, proper diet. And by balanced, I mean the good things you're supposed to eat, not processed foods, not butter, not cream. Those are the things that weigh down your body, cause all the inflammation on the inside.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it. And the more I lost the weight, the better I felt. And it's amazing how much energy you have.
Like the security guard who noticed your eyes.
That was the first switch in my head. Like, whoa, this is really kind of cool.
Right.
And
she'd never noticed the brightness and the
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And so I went home one summer and walked on the beach for the first time with a shirt off because everyone knew me as the fat kid.
Oh.
And so I was always very self-conscious,
Of course.
Didn't want those girls to see me, that kind of thing. So I went back I stepped on a bodybuilding stage, my 30th birthday, with more hair on my head than I had in high school, brighter blue eyes, and obviously a fitter body. And so it was kind of my nod to all my friends that said I was going to be dead by the age of 30.
And bald.
And the funny thing is that now they all have pot bellies. Bald heads,
right?
And so I'm trying to and then they're calling me saying, "How can you help me?" So, back to the gym. So when I was at the gym, the trainers saw what I was doing. They asked me if I would help them, and because they would give me meal plans for myself, and then I would kind of tweak them to make them taste like what I really wanted. I wanted nachos, so I would make nachos healthier.
Oh, I see.
And I can hear everybody right now saying, "How do you make nachos healthier?"
Well, we'll find out.
So I would do things like that. And one day somebody called me up and said, "Could you cook for me?" And so like a little switch went in my head and I said, "You know what, I can." And I was actually teaching a class and they said, "How can I do this?" And I said, "Well, I can cook it for you." And I started a company called Sin City Chefs.
That's where we met, and that's what that clip was about.
Absolutely. It was shortly after I opened the company that I met Barbara, our friend,
right,
and yourself, and a few others. And it was an opportunity for me to help other people eat better one bite at a time.
One bite. I love that.
And
eat better one bite at a time.
Exactly. And it's a cliche. Everybody's using it these days.
Well, you started it probably.
But it's very true because everybody wants everything right now, right?
Of course.
We're in definitely a right now society. The truth is that if you want to be healthy, it's a slow process at the beginning, and then it just kind of evolves into a lifestyle revolution. You just got to have it. You're either going to do it or you're not. I always tell people, before you can lose this, you got to lose this. Like you got to change this if you want to lose this. And so you got to change your mind, change your way of thinking, and then your life will change. You don't. Maybe somebody doesn't have to. Maybe they're not overweight, but they just don't feel well all the time.
Yes, I understand that 100%.
Well, there are a lot of reasons for that, and a lot of it starts with food. A lot of it starts inflammation. It's things like that.
Right.
I know. I could tell you countless stories of people that have come off medications, arthritic, diabetes. I had chronic acid reflux.
Wow, that's
don't
ugly.
have that anymore. Ulcers, you name it.
I had an incident a little while ago. I even put it on Facebook. I don't like sharing my personal life, but I was not feeling well for about a year.
Yeah.
And I went an alternate route. I went holistically, and it just completely, I'm not kidding, within a week,
Yes.
I felt good. And my son is, I mean, the energy I have now a month and a week later is phenomenal. And
Absolutely.
I did cut out some things in my diet, like my Ben and Jerry's every night, my ice cream, you know.
Well, now,
It's just
you know,
like-
people are like, well, I want to be able to eat. Well, you can.
That's, I was going to ask you that, and a viewer I know would like to know. How do you get that flavor gratification? Like you were talking about the nachos.
Right. Well, a lot of it is combinations of certain types of seasonings, types of methods. You know, you don't need, for instance, you don't need, let's say you're going to have nachos. You don't need to put a cup of shredded cheese on your nachos. Believe it or not, your palate and your body will sense the fact that you're getting that cheese with maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons.
No kidding.
And so I know you're thinking, oh, I got to have the ooey gooey cheese.
That's
well,
how I am.
Then you have that on your cheat day or your cheat meal, and once a week, have whatever you want.
Oh, you allow cheating.
Whatever you want. You know, my caveat is cookie dough, man. I eat fresh cookie dough, and I mean I eat the whole bowl.
It's your treat.
It's my gig, you know,
Uh-huh.
and that's one of my biggest things that I always eat.
Mine is ice cream. I'm just a fool for
Well,
ice
and
cream.
now I've kind of morphed that. Now it's cookie dough with ice cream and pretzel M&Ms.
But it hasn't affected your whole mission and your goal.
No, because the truth is that the next meal, which by the way I eat anywhere between 6 and 8 times a day.
So do I. I felt people should do that, shouldn't they?
You don't wait until you're hungry. By
Exactly.
that time, your body's already attacking you. You know,
Right.
and it's gonna store everything you go after. And if you don't burn that off, it's just going to keep it stored, and so on. And so, and then the next thing you know, things aren't fitting quite as well.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely something that once you start, you won't want to go back, because when you feel so good, and then you have that half a pizza or that big plate of nachos and a few beers or whatever, the next day you feel like you're hungover,
Yes.
even if you're not drunk.
Right.
You just feel that way.
I tell you, I quit the ice cream and everything. I was eating ice cream every night, and then I cheated this week, and within 2 hours, I felt
Didn't feel good.
I just didn't. I felt icky,
Absolutely.
which is weird.
But
Don't like that.
the next meal, so when you have that cheat, you should be able to go to your next meal 2-3 hours later, and it should be right back on spot.
And so again, go back. No sodas. I've always hated sodas. I just felt they were just bad. I didn't have them in my house when my son grew up. He doesn't have a cavity. He didn't have what, you know. But so okay, cut out the starchy foods, the GMO foods, the
Sodium.
processed, the sodium, but work out. Do some exercise of
Something
some sort.
you don't
Right.
even if you walking, start with it. Start with walking.
Uh-huh.
You know, if the other thing that I like to do, use your surroundings. You know, if you have stairs,
I do.
walk up and down your
I do.
stairs 10
Well,
times.
now I feel so good. I do.
and then when you do that, and you're like, okay, well that was fun. Okay, well now I want you to go grab a gallon of water and walk up and down your stairs 10 times.
Got it.
Because now you've increased the intensity.
Uh-huh.
And then grab 2, and then
Just
so on.
Build it up.
And the next thing you know, you're feeling so much better about yourself, you will end up in the gym. And it happens.
Or running or playing tennis or whatever
Absolutely.
it is that trips your trigger.
Exactly.
But you no longer have Sin City Chef, correct?
Correct. No,
Okay.
a few years ago, I got called I felt very led to teach. And I
Great.
love teaching. I love teaching adults. I love teaching kids. I love teaching anybody that wants to have a better life, either with food or whatever. And I got called by the Clark County School District
Great.
to teach at one of the high schools here in town.
Uh-huh.
And that's one of the best things ever, because you get to see the students or the kids really shine
Right.
and go from, you know, unfortunately society doesn't think too kindly of teenagers. And,
There are issues.
you know, but we all have them.
Yes, we do.
So it was my way of trying to get them to
Get
find
interested.
something to get interested in.
Yeah, and become passionate about it.
So when they called me, I decided to stop Sin City Chefs. When people still got a hold of me and they wanted me to help them, and I would,
Right.
without a problem, you know,
Right.
perform clients or whatever. But I see myself growing the opportunity to teach other people on a more mass spot.
Right.
And there's many ways I want to do that.
That's wonderful, and we're not going to forget all the awards that you have accumulated. The Chop Chef, and you've got so much else going on. We have another segment. We get to talk about that, and I'm sure we could fill a segment on that. I'm going to give a shout out again to the Red Roof Inn, my sponsor on Paradise. It's close to the Strip and the airport, which is really cool, and pet friendly. Everybody likes that. Free Wi-Fi and continental breakfast to guests. It's the hotel. It's on the Strip across from Hard Rock, and they have a carriage with a guy sitting in it. It's kind of a romantic spot for tourists.
Perfect location.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be back with Chef Dell in just about 5 minutes.